Hello, welcome back. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why I'm here. Aside from the fact that a very long time ago, two people had a very irresponsible night, and I'm paying for it for the rest of my life. Anyway, since I did a video, a combat test featuring some single SSRs I have, or as a friend referred to that video as team couples counseling, I thought just for sheer fun we'd have some SRs I have singles of, and just see what happens. Now, for the record, there's not an aura bringer on here, so while everyone will be using their skills, they'll also probably be using their normal stuff. Yep. So let's start off here with a guy who we love. I see the comments in his little thing where you go to his profile are very thirsty most times, and have always been. No Kashi, Okuribito, whatever name you want to call our boy by. Now, preface, all great vibes. So let's do the thing. Yeah? Now, Okuribito, as he's known here, as you can see, he is fully skilled up. Wham bam. And of course, Oriyuki. I gotta make sure I pronounce your name right now. Pretty decent attack, but his main focus is on his crit damage, and on having her out, so he's like, he's your backup. So with his setup, I've got him set up with a Watcher set, and this could actually change because he doesn't need effect hits, so I'm actually looking to get a Watcher that will replace that eventually. I just don't know with what. The other one over here is HP to try to keep him alive for Oriyuki and his abilities, as well as some crit and crit damage. Down here we've got another attack soul. Here again with crit and crit damage. And here defense, attack, and crit. Because he will have... This is pretty nice here. And of course for some extra crit, we also have this Samson set with attack, crit, and crit damage. Look at that. Bam. Me like it. Now, I'm sure there are people who could suggest other souls for him, but this is the one I like the best and what works well for me. So, this give you a little idea of something to try, at least, for your first rounds of running him. Crit and attack. Definitely good for him. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to say that if you've noticed some weird glitching in this video already with the visuals and graphics, it's a mix between my system being garbage and that snake constantly moving around in the background. I kind of wish there was a way to turn him off, but, you can't do that. So I'm just going to say that, and we're going to hope that we don't miss too many frames here. So let's go now move on to, we've covered Nokashi or Okuribito. Let's go to Ittan-Momen, and I want to say I love how the team has done this, where she has this beautiful spring summer skin here, and he's got this winter skin. That's perfect. Now, for her, I made her very attack-oriented, some decent crit and crit damage, definitely effect resistance to keep her alive on her own so she's not getting knocked around. But her abilities, with her ability to entangle and obstruct, as well as her binding abilities and all, I couldn't resist putting Snow Spirit on her to add a freeze slow and possibly a freeze. Add some freeze and at least reduce the speed, attacker speed, because she's got her skills. And honestly, it works very beautifully in my opinion. But of course, you can't really have an attack-oriented an attack-oriented queen without having them also boosted up with some crit. So, Wisp Zoa. Again, for crit, attack, and some HP to keep her alive, but again, mostly focused on attack. Now, her effect hit isn't the best, I'll freely admit this. I mean, it's pretty basic. Her effect hits are basic for what she is able to do herself, and the natural, base chance for a freeze. There's no shame in that. It actually works out just fine. Now, moving on, we'll go down here, and we go to Dodomeki. Now, I love this slogan. Dodomeki is one whom I, honestly, for a while, did not know what to do with her. Until Wisp came out, and then I was like, oh yeah, we know what we do in here. Wisp is probably one of the best effect hit boosting souls to put on her. I'm not kidding. And our girl here, she will hit her effects like nobody's business, like every single freaking turn. Now, as you can see again, she's fully leveled. Wham, bam. I honestly really love this. Now, again, decent crit damage. Not the most amount of crit. She really doesn't have good crit, so I tried to just barely do anything to those two. Her bread and butter is her effects. And Wisp works beautifully. Like I said, I tried to minimize the boosting of her crit damage only because this was a really good Wisp soul I had. But everything else is focused on attack, giving her some effect resistance herself, but also keeping her alive so she can just start hitting the crap out of things. And of course, adding on to Wisp was Sea Spirit Sprite. English. For a speed booster, because why not get those effects out quickly, and an extra boost of effect hit. Now, would I love to see her effect hit sky high? Yes. Does this work beautifully as is? Also yes. It really does. And you're going to get to see that if you stick around in the video. Now, next up, of course, is Bukkuman. I actually don't remember what his other name is at the moment. You know, like how we have Nokashi or Okuribito and all. I don't remember off the top of my head. If you do, let me know down below. And honestly, I don't know where my phone is, so I can't Google it. But, you know, I love that skin. But in his case, again, fully skilled up, set up, he's mostly fit for attack. Not too much in the crit, but an okay amount, but some extra crit damage. But he's got very even stats. He doesn't really have an effect, though. I also love his things. You can see here, this heavily scrolls. Since he can actually do this little bit of healing a little bit, I did boost his HP a little bit further. But healing isn't what he's the best at, in my opinion. But, you know, I'm sure there are other people who would say otherwise. He's basically here to beat the crap out of people. Now, in that same theory, there are people who would say, don't put house up on him. But since everyone else in this room has a bunch of healing effects, controlling effects they can deal out, you see where I'm going with why he works good in this little group. He can deal with controlling effects. He can deal some effects. They can deal controlling effects. He can basically just boost his own damage output. It's great. Now, again, this is very heavily attack-oriented because I wanted him to just be able to hit things very hard in the face. So if you can set him up to be working with you know, anyone with crowd control, you know, works. Now, the Borotons here are here to boost his HP a little bit, but also give him some defense and better survivability. Overall, it's a good setup I kind of like, but I'm sure other people have their own suggestions. But let's move on to our finale, Enenra, Kamikui's older sister, and honestly, probably one of my favorites. She is so sassy to me. Now, she's more attack-oriented, but also a lot heavier on crit and crit damage and effects. Now, as to why is because Akira here is naturally very good when it comes to morphing her opponents, and it's a load of fun. Now, I've seen in a lot of different things, I've seen Enenra be able to one-shot a lot of Shikigami. So that's why I went a little more with boosting her crit damage and some attack. So claws here, because let's face it, we don't use this near enough where the 50% chance of ignoring 45% of defense. It feels so right with her to boost its crit, a little more attack, and just start sending her effect hit up. Now, of course, for some extra attack and the crit damage, we have Nightwing. Also, very nice. Now, I did used to run a Nightwing set on her, and it kind of worked, but eventually I kind of moved more towards the claws set. But really, I think anything that, as long as you're combining crit and attack with her, should work very nicely. And if you keep her effect hit up pretty nice, I mean, it still works. I mean, you want her morphing abilities. On that, since we've covered all 5, and we're going to ignore Seimei in the background because he's just exist. We actually love you, Seimei, don't worry. So we're going to do the usual combat test, which will be a level 40 Hahakagami zone, level 40 Kappa zone. And before we progress, this is the part of the video where things are going to probably go banana sandwich because with the lagging and the frame rate drops if they haven't already. So right here, I'm just going to say, if you've made it this far, please do the holy trifecta of YouTube with a like, comment, subscribe, leave suggestions and all. And now let's hit the fun part. Go. I like Bukkuman's voice actor. And just start whacking. Now, again, I could have had like a orb bringer present for this, but I really want to do this as just the SSRs, not the SS, the SRs. And in all honesty, I didn't feel like putting Oatsuki in here. Overall, though, they work very nicely by themselves. They just build it up pretty rapidly towards the +5s. I mean, let's face it, once you get to a certain point, you don't really need a battery. I just love watching Bukkuman work. And I really do love how Oriyuki's winter outfit in this skin is super cute. And see what I mean about Dodomeki will hit her effects like crazy? There we go. We had a little freezing for a second before she beat the crap out of it and all that died. I'll admit part of why I went with the winter themed skin, the snow spirit thing, also came from a bit of a little bit of a association that she has with winter and all. I couldn't help it. At the very least, I definitely remember a song on YouTube that I really liked that just makes me think of her, and it involved a lot of snow and ice, and I couldn't resist. Now, on that note, we're gonna switch over to the Kappa zone, and I'll see you in a hot minute. And we're back with our Kappa zone, our SR team, and everybody just start wailing on them. Oh my gosh, he's a little. Okuribito's a little bit of a beast on his own, ain't he? As is Ittan-Momen. They may hate each other, but they go very nicely together. I love how she could just do that, like, she hits, takes, and it does a little extra damage. That's great. You don't really need, with this little team up, you just need to, you don't really need anybody else. They do good. That snake is just sending my everything to hell, I just know it. And back into Narnia, or Yuki goes. Well, on that note, I say we're done here. Well, at least I am. So I'm gonna knock off here. Please do the holy trifecta of YouTube down below with the like, comment, subscribe. If you managed to get this far, and if you did, thank you. Thank you immensely for getting this far. And I'll catch you later. And hey, if you got an idea for like a combo or soul build or a Shiki you want to see, let me know. Hit me up down below. I got you. Trust me, I got you. See ya.